Let's beat the waiver wire on FFT Express. It's Adam and David's Friday. Let's talk about who we're picking up for Fantasy Week 7. There are two teams on a bye, Chicago and Dallas. Hello, Dave.
Adam, the quarterbacks are kind of interesting to pick up off the waiver wire. I actually think Daniel Jones makes sense as the top guy to go and get. Taking on Philadelphia, I do expect the Eagles defense to look good in week 6. I expect the Giants to challenge them in week 7. And we don't know if Neighbors is going to play as we record this for week number 6. Hopefully he's back by week 7 to take on that Eagles defense, and that'll make Daniel Jones look all the better. He's my favorite quarterback to go after. I also don't mind Dalton going up against Washington, Stafford against the Raiders, and Cooper Kupp's going to be back. So I wonder if that's going to be something
Maybe, right?
that he might be back. And so that would definitely help Stafford. Justin Herbert's at Arizona, Drake May against Jacksonville. Tua is still out there in a bunch of leagues. Maybe you could still stash him on your IR spot. And if you wanted to get ahead of the quarterback switch in Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson available in 90+% of leagues.
Yeah, I'm glad you said Tua. If you don't need anyone next week, Tua is 48% rostered, and he should be back in week 8. So we're getting
we hope he's back in week 8.
We're hoping he's back in week 8.
And it's against Arizona at home. So nice little landing spot for Tua to come back to.
And Daniel Jones, not only does he have Philadelphia in week 7, then he's at Pittsburgh, which isn't great, but then Washington and Carolina in weeks 8 and 9 and 10. Okay, running backs. Any running backs you want to stash?
The ones that I'm looking at do not have a major role in week 6. So Ty Chandler, we don't know about Aaron Jones and whether or not he's going to be back in week 7. They said he's week to week. Chandler should already be rostered.
Yeah, this is crazy. I can't
across
believe
the board.
62% I don't know about across the board, but at least 80%, but
even in 10-team leagues, this is a guy who could be a lead running back for the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. I would like to have him on my fantasy team. And if Najee Harris stinks again, he's taking on the Raiders in week 6. If he stinks, then Jaylen Warren could come back and finally, it took 2 years, but finally take over that job in Pittsburgh. I don't mind stashing Jaylen Warren. Other names that are worth stashing, and you could add these guys right now. Antonio Gibson, obviously, if Ramondre Stevenson doesn't play as of this recording, we don't know if Stevenson's going to play. Jeremy McNichols makes some sense. And then you could stash guys like Audric Estime, Tyler Goodson. And this is for everybody in the deepest of deep leagues. Kamani Vidal is the rookie running back on the Chargers. We know that Gus Edwards is a little banged up. He really hasn't been effective anyway. Do the Chargers come out of their bye week, giving their young running back a chance to earn some reps?
Yeah, that's a good call for sure. All right, at wide receiver, I don't know if you were going to include these guys, but I just want to say the Rams wide receivers, if Kupp is not back, Atwell and especially Whittington, they're coming off good games. Then they're going into their bye this week, obviously, so it's not great. But, just don't forget about Atwell and Whittington if Kupp is not going to be ready, which he might not be. But who else we got?
Atwell and Whittington do make some sense. Juju Smith-Schuster is still rostered in 39% of CBS leagues. Is that right, Adam?
I have it at 42. Yeah, 39. Yeah, 39. Yep, you're absolutely right. 39.
So, this could potentially be the number one wide receiver for the Chiefs. I don't care what you think of him. Take the chance on him. Stash him on your team. He gets the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers defense is quite as good as what the stat box says from their game against Seattle in week number 6. Same thing with Christian Watson. He's going to be back sooner than later for the Packers. He's been limited in practice leading up this week. I'd rather have Juju than Watson, but those are both two guys that I would love to have on my bench.
You say McConkey?
I did not say Ladd McConkey.
Rostered, but go ahead.
I think he makes sense because the matchup next week against Arizona, and he might end up being the number one Chargers target getter the rest of the way.
And Jalen Tolbert is going into his bye next week, but he's 60% rostered, and there's some potential there. All right, tight ends.
Start Tolbert now.
Yeah, you love him.
Tight ends, I'm looking at the list that you had for the show. Dalton Schultz is on there. Tyler Conklin. I don't like Conklin's matchup against Pittsburgh. Cade Otton against Baltimore. I don't like that matchup. Taysom Hill is a decent stash. What you could do is stash Taysom Hill, knowing that he's not going to play in week 6. Maybe he's ready to go week 7 against Denver. It's not a great matchup. And if he's not ready, you drop him and you pick up a different tight end at that point.
Yeah, the problem with Hill is they play on Thursday, so he has less time to recover. But, sure. Hill would be a pretty good one to get. You said you didn't like Otton?
I don't love Otton against Baltimore.
Well, they're bad against tight ends, Baltimore, actually.
Yeah.
What it's worth.
We'll see. Listen, he's like right around 10 PPR points anyway. I don't know if the opponent matters that much.
All right, we'll take a quick break here and answer your questions on FFT Express when we come back.
If you love football, this is the best time of the year.
This is as big as it gets.
The stuff of absolute dreams.
Okay, I don't know if this is a this week question or a next week question, but Daniel Jones or Jared Goff?
It's Jones for me for this week, but I'd still lean toward Goff rest of season.
Let's see. Would you? Someone dropped Antonio Gibson for Xavier Legette. Should he reverse that?
If you need a running back in week 6 and Ramondre Stevenson's out, good luck getting that back.
And people might someone's confused Otten versus Baltimore. We were talking about next week's matchup. That's what the point of this show was.
We're
looking
trying
ahead
to wait for wire.
Next week, unless I have their matchup wrong. That could be, but I know not this week.
Check for you. Yeah, week 7, Baltimore, Tampa Bay.
There you go.
Monday
night, right?
Yeah.
2 Monday night games next week.
Yeah.
Who do you like this week? Baker, Stroud, Williams, or Daniel Jones?
I've got Baker at the top of that list, and I think I've got Daniel Jones next up.
Harrison, Dobbins, or Chubbard in half PPR?
Hubbard makes the most sense is the one to go with.
Okay. How about, would you drop TJ Hawkinson for Nick Chubb?
If Hawkinson's the worst player that you can drop, then sure. But I don't feel good. I hate the idea of carrying Hawkinson all this time and then dropping him.
Juju or JMO?
Well, this is probably a rest of season question.
Yeah.
Jameson's probably got a higher value on the trade chart, so I'll lean toward him.
Would you start Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, or Kirk Cousins this week?
Jordan Love.
Wow, that's a lot of good quarterbacks you got there.
Yeah, nice.
Shakir or Ford at flex? Shakir's hasn't practiced. So.
Yeah, I doubt Shakir plays. So hooray, Jerome Ford.
DeAndre Hopkins or Chris Olave this week?
Olave over Hopkins.
Chase Brown or Tank Dell?
Chase.
Amari Cooper or Mike Evans?
Evans.
Javonte or Olave?
I think if it's I think I'm going to take the chance on Olave either way.
Would you trade Khalil Shakir for TJ Hawkinson and Keenan Allen?
I don't think I would.
I like Khalil Shakir. I think he's going to be pretty good and reliable. Not great.
I mean, certainly. I wish his target volume was higher, and I'm worried about what his target volume will become if the Bills make an addition at wide receiver.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, that if they get then that would be bad. Otten or Dalton Schultz this week?
I believe I have Otten over Schultz. Oh, I think I have Schultz over Otten. Give me Schultz.
All right. Tigers or Guardians this weekend?
I haven't paid any attention to baseball. I'll say the Tigers because of their home team announcer, Jason Benetti. Shout out, South
He's great.
Chicago.
Yeah, and they're starting, I think, Tariq Skubal. And then how about it's Game 5? It's deciding Game 5. Padres or Dodgers deciding Game 5?
Oh, 2 Game 5s?
Yeah.
There's no Game 7.
Correct. 5 games.
That's how out of touch I am with baseball, is that I didn't even know. I guess Dodgers.
Okay. Probably a good call. All right, we're out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you this weekend, throughout the weekend. We're in your life all the time during football season.
Your life.
See you later.